it gets so much more complicated and so much worse because there isn't an indifference to intellectualism in the hood.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a resent in some ways for it. In layman's terms, right? Or in other words, I don't like saying layman's terms. Scratch that. In other words, niggas, it'd be one thing if niggas didn't care if you like to study, you like books, and you like school, and they left you alone. It'd be
Mm-hmm.
one thing if there was sort of an indifference to educational, to the pursuit of the philosophical and so forth. But niggas actually get mad, right? They tease the smart kid. They bully the smart kid. And so the smart kid, we are all led to believe, and rightly so, that intellectualism is not the thing that is going to earn you the influence in the hood. It's not the thing that's going to earn you clout in the hood. And in the hood, if the primordial desire of mankind, which is to say, if the number one thing we want, Nikki, what up? Nikki Knowledge, what up, what up, what up, Nikki? She's a
What's
dope
going on?
educator doing amazing work at Columbia University, doing amazing work for hip hop, I just wanted to shout her out. But if if the number one thing we want is to survive, I don't give a fuck about none of your morality. I don't want to talk about morality. Like Fanon said, I want to live. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you something. A good friend of mine once said to me, he was a white dude from England. He said to me, because a lot of white people are like, yeah, I wouldn't steal, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. He said to me, white morality is a bourgeois fantasy. In other words, it's easy for a person who is never going to be in a certain situation to say what they would do in that situation. You feel me?
Yeah,
And
no,
it's
no,
funny
I'm
to
with you.
me how even all parents, even white parents, they be like, I'll do anything for my kid. I do anything for my kid. So why can't you fathom the idea that a black mom in the hood might do some illegal shit to feed her child? Why would you then chastise? Why would you then criminalize that mom?
What's going on, Gabe? I'm
What
with you.
up? What up? What up? Tap in. You feel me? But it's complicated, man. Shout out Nikki Knowledge, man. Yo, she's doing just so many amazing things that I gotta shout my sis out. But like I said, bro, the bottom line is this. I do also want to say, I want to address something because I read that Malcolm, and Malcolm moved me. And I read it for the second time now. Malcolm moved me in a very, very strong way. Um, as you know, Malcolm wasn't really fucking with people's understanding of Malcolm is a Malcolm that didn't fuck with white people at all. That's not
That
true.
it's not true. It's not
That's
true.
not
Yeah.
true. That's
When he
not
went
true.
when he went to Mecca, he discovered.
Tell him, Bishop. Tell him.
When he went to Mecca, he discovered that all people had a sense of it's not a. It's, when he went to Mecca, he realized that people wasn't there that was racist. That's one. It wasn't based on that. It was more of becoming to a spiritual consciousness that he wanted to come back to America. When he came back to America and he brought that to them, some people kind of disagree with him because when he was explaining to them what was going on in America, they was like, "How is that so?" When we over here in Mecca, we don't look at black and white.
Mm.
We're
Mm.
all people. We all humans. We all have,
When he got to
empathy.
Mecca, when Malcolm got to Mecca, he met a white doctor, or as Malcolm said, a doctor or a man that would have been considered white in America, Dr. Azam, who offered him, long story short, offered Malcolm his suite. And Malcolm wrote a letter to one of his friends in America and said, I have to reconsider my appraisal of the white man after this trip to Mecca,
Yeah.
right? Because he
Fact.
realized that folks could be brotherly, that white
Mm-hmm.
people, white men, white women could be brotherly, that they were not the white devil. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas like to be like, yeah, Malcolm, man, fuck with no white. That's not true, champ. It's not true. It's
You gotta do
not.
your
It's never
homework. You
been
gotta do.
true.
See, the thing is with that, what you're saying is a lot of people really have to tap in to really get an understanding. The same thing with me. I read Bobby Seale's book. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to switch flip flop, but Bobby Seale, in the beginning of his book, he stated that when Malcolm died, he wanted to just do all crazy shit. He picked up some bricks and was throwing them in the windows of white people that were coming in the hood, because
Mm-hmm.
that's what white parents were doing back out there in Sacramento, where they was from. They was coming out and taking their kids, their white kids, in these communities, and seeing these African Americans like, okay, this is how they live. This
Mm-hmm.
can how this is how you can be if you don't, you know what I mean. Basically, do what you need to do so you don't have to be in this position.
That's a
So
fact.
in Bobby Seale's book, see, a lot of people had misconstrued as if the Black Panther Party hated white people. No, they didn't hate the white people. They just wanted structure for the African American people. They wanted to
And
put some
we ain't
principles.
never, bro. We ain't never hated nobody, bro. Look, history will not lie. History will not lie to you. You know, and this can become incredibly philosophical quickly, but history is an objective storytelling, right? The
Mm-hmm.
facts are the facts. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And so, we were responding to a situation always. We were responding to violence always. We were responding to colonialism always. We were responding to oppression always. You feel me? And
Yeah.
so but the beautiful thing is that Malcolm was able to go over there and understand that actually to win this fight, we do need their help, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and and and, and